let's have a quick look, shall we, at old Starmer, the harmer. Absolutely and utterly ridiculous. Here he is yesterday.
Coward.
The coward, making a statement in the House of Commons about how it absolutely had nothing to do with the attacks on Iran. Yeah, have a look.
Failed states have historically proved to be worse, so we do have to be careful.
Sir Julian Lewis.
If a missile battery in Iran was continuing to target British bases, would an airstrike against it be offensive or defensive?
Mr. Speaker, I think I've made clear the base of this. The second decision, we have authorised the US to use our bases in order to take out the ability of Iran to make those strikes. That is legal because it's a collective self-defence.
Can you imagine if he'd been in charge of the Second World War? You know, we get the Hitler's at the door. We'll wait until he shoots somebody before we do anything. You know, the idea that he somehow didn't act in the first instance, but now wants to act defensively. Isn't it lucky that we haven't all been blown to smithereens?
Well, it is, wouldn't let the US use the bases, which now he will, but only under specific prescribed circumstances. Like Iran give a toss about those circumstances.
This tells you exactly why lawyers are completely and utterly thick, stupid morons.
You can imagine,
right?
let's go back to the First World War.
I'll just check the law book here.
Can you imagine the First World War when someone shouts fixed bayonets and he stops everybody and says, no, we've got to do a proper study on whether you know, health and safety allows us to do this before we go over the top. We would have been...
You might hurt someone.
We would have been absolutely annihilated within minutes.
This is the thing, and he seemingly has no clue about how stupid he sounds, or how ridiculous he looks. You know,
but this is what happens when you've got a leader who's not really a leader at all, but has also got no conviction, no belief, no vision. You know, he's got no instinct either for being a good leader. What he does is revert to type, which is being a very poor lawyer. And again, I just take you back to his record when he was Director of Public Prosecutions, which, and again, not enough has been said about this in terms of the amount of people that he left off the hook, whether it was grooming gangs or celebrities that were raping children, you know, the Jimmy Saviles of this world or whatever. I mean, fancy putting this man in charge of making law, let alone upholding it, when he was such a terrible Director of Public Prosecutions.
Yeah, exactly right. How about this, right? This is what he said when he was asked about the attack on the Cyprus base, all right? Because when John Healey was doing the rounds on Sunday...
He was good, wasn't he?
He was absolutely ridiculous, right? He actually said, we're fairly certain that it was a sort of accidental missile that was fired towards Cyprus. They weren't actually aiming it at Cyprus.
That's okay then.
It just kind of somehow went towards Cyprus, even though it's 1,000 miles away from where it was first fired. Here we go. In a statement to the House of Commons, Keir Starmer said this: "It is important for me to say that our bases in Cyprus are not being used by US bombers. The security of our friends and partners in Cyprus is of critical importance, and I want to be clear the strike on Akrotiri in Cyprus was not in response to any decision we've taken. In our assessment, the drone was launched prior to our announcement." What's he talking about?
So in history...
So if a drone lands on a British Army base in Cyprus and kills some people, he's not worried about that as long as it's not his fault.
No, and also as long as the protagonist that fired that missile say, sorry, Gov, it was a mistake. It was a bit of an accident. You know, no matter what the consequences of that drone strike or that missile are. It's embarrassing beyond belief, isn't it? And,
totally.
You know, it pains me that we have probably another 2 or 3 years of this idiot. Or have we?
I don't think so.
Or have we?
Surely
May the 8th, I think, as we said before, is probably the time when there's an absolute hemorrhaging of votes and of council seats against Labour.
Surely to God he can't survive that.
Yeah, but then, of course, we end up with Angela Rayner as probably his replacement, which, of course... From the point of view of the country is terrible. From the point of view of a reform councillor as I am, great news, because she'll be even worse.
She will be even worse. I mean, almost anyone would be even worse. I mean, Miliband now looks really, really stupid because of what's happening with the oil prices, right? Because it now, as somebody pointed out earlier, if only we're sitting on a wealth of oil and gas that we could exploit.
No, what we should do
purposes.
instead is let the Norwegians drill it. Let the Norwegians drill it, take it, and sell it back to us at a premium. That's what we should do.
That's what we should do.
It's a much better idea.
In fact, we are doing that.
Yes.
One final question for you. Netflix is eager to play host to the BBC and other traditional broadcasters as audiences defect to streaming. This is Greg Peters, apparently, speaking for the first time since Netflix walks away from the deal with the Hollywood giant Warner Discovery. Basically, they're saying we will put the BBC on Netflix, right? And again,
no one watch it.
I have to quite happily blow my own trumpet here. One of the reasons for our great success, and by the way, we went through 9 million on Friday. We're nearly at 9.5 already.
It's 10 million by the end of the week.
We'll be at 10 million by the end of the week. In fact, we should have a countdown to 10 million, shouldn't we, Pooch?
Yeah,
Can we do that?
I haven't got enough to do it.
Yeah, he's quiet. He's sitting there doing nothing.
Enough to do. You know, well, I keep saying when you get somebody in, yeah, we've got ADHD. Yeah, listen, when you signed up for this, you knew it was going to be bad news. Anyway, listen, Russell, great to see you.
And you, mate.
Anything else you want to mention before you disappear?
Hapless driving instructor.
Oh, yeah.
In the Times today.
Oh, yeah. This is a good story.
Remind me of this individual's name. Right,
Drunk driving instructor
Timothy
crashes
Howells.
into ditch while 4 times over the limit.
Yeah, but this is
Sorry.
so this is
No, it's
Timothy
not
Howells.
funny, is it?
No, it's
Shocking.
not funny. For and look, this particular driving school read yes, on his way to work. He's actually on his way to pick up his first
That's extraordinary.
first customer of the day,
Right.
and he crashes on his own into a field, which takes some doing.
He's in
Ends
Wales,
up-
mind you. The good news is he was
sheep
only
were
doing
harmed.
19 miles an hour.
Yeah, 19 miles an hour. But no sheep were harmed in the
Yeah.
making of this particular incident. So when breathalyzed by the police, on his way to pick up his first customer of the day for a driving lesson, was 4 times over the drink driving.
That's going some, isn't it?
Well done, Timothy Howells.
Yeah.
I think maybe a candidate for Plank of the Week.
Yeah, I think it could well be. In fact, we'll put him on the list. Are you doing it? You could do both. Are you in it this week?
I don't know. I've been asked.
Well, we'll
I
have
couldn't
to-
do it last week. But,
Okay, well,
I'll check.
We'll maybe get you in. Yeah, keep that thought because I'll try and make a note of it, otherwise I'll forget. Because as Pooch says, we're all very overworked here and suffering from ADHD. So we can't
Well, the winner.
It's difficult when you work with guys.
Can I just jump straight to Friday night? The winner is Keir Starmer.
Yeah. I mean, it has to be, yeah. I'm going to take some legal advice on that. I guess we should do some news, shouldn't we? Kevin McKenzie's here. He'll be on very shortly. We've also got Howard Cox to talk to as well. We've got a whole list of great... we've got Neil Oliver coming on later on as well. Where else have we got? What else have we got? Maggie Oliver's coming on. All the Olivers are here. Who else?
Brian Rose.
Brian Rose as well. We're going over to Dubai, to find out what's going on there. But it seems as though certainly flights are happening again. So we'll bring you the latest news on all of that.
Flights by missile.
As well. Yes, thank you very much indeed. But of course, only if you've taken legal advice should you get on a plane. Let's get some news with Edward Hughes.
Good morning, all. Here's the news with me, Eddie Hughes. Good morning. The escalating US-Israeli conflict with Iran dominates UK headlines for the 3rd day. Prime Minister Keir Starmer has defended his decision to keep Britain out of direct offensive strikes on Iran, while allowing US forces limited defensive use of British bases. He's faced criticism from President Trump, who expressed disappointment. A suspected Hezbollah drone struck a UK RAF base in Cyprus, causing limited damage but raising fears of wider involvement, with experts noting Britain's stretched defences after years of underinvestment. Domestically, the government announced major asylum reforms, making refugee status temporary around 30 months initially, to deter migration, sparking debate over potential breaches of international conventions. Other stories include MPs' salaries, set to rise to £110,000 by the end of this parliament. A new study showing weight loss drugs could prevent deadly heart attack complications. And Scotland becoming the first UK nation to legalise water cremations. Plus, economic ripples from the Middle East crisis are already affecting shipping insurance in the Gulf and could impact Chancellor Rachel Reeves's upcoming fiscal plans. More details unfolding as the Iran situation develops rapidly. Stay tuned. Remember to like and subscribe. Laters Tigers!